Hi there, this is Gordon from cheaprecipes.info, and as we've got quite a bit of snow outside, I thought, well, what better on a winter's day than a nice chicken soup. So I've got my ingredients here in front of me. As you can see, I'll just run through them. On the left at the front here, we've got our onion, celery and carrot. This is a classic Mirepoix. That'll be the base. I've got a couple of leeks which I'm going to put in later. I've got some chopped up potatoes, and I've got about half a cup of mixed lentils. I've got some chickpeas I found in the fridge I'm going to use up. I've got about just under a cup of frozen peas. I've got 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, some oregano, paprika and cumin. And at the back for the meat, while this is going to be a boneless recipe, we're going to cook the meat on the bone and then take it off later. So what I've bought here, I've managed to buy 5 chicken legs on special offer at the supermarket for around £3. Okay, here we go. I'm preparing the garlic now, and you know, my garlic's a little bit old and it's got this green heart. You know, it's probably starting to grow. This is very bitter. I've seen chefs, TV chefs, chopping it up like this, but just remove it. Just pull it out and just remove that green stem because it's quite bitter in the garlic. So we'll do that, and just split it open. I can see it in there. You see? It's got this green middle to it. Bit of a messing around. It's because my garlic's, I've had it a long time, that's all. But get it out because it is quite bitter, that. Anyway, we'll do that. We'll just get it out. There's one here. Remove this green stem in the middle. That's it. Then your garlic's good to go. Be no problem. You won't get any bitter taste. Okay, now for the chicken. So, what I want to do, I want to cook the thigh. So what we need to do, when you cut chicken up, we need to look for the joint inside. Just with the knife gently. If you feel the joint, the knife will go through very easy. And there we have our chicken thigh separated from the leg. Chuck that in there, put that back in there for a minute. Let's do another one. So again, just go through, feel with the knife for the joint. There, I've got it. Hope you can see alright, because my chopping board's in an awkward position. Okay, let's do one more. So cut through, and the knife will go through the chicken very easily once you find that joint. So once you're boning chicken, or you're jointing it rather, just look for those joints, and a sharp knife will just go straight through. There we go, that's another one. I'll keep the drumsticks for another recipe later. So we'll do one more. Can you see that? It goes straight through very easily. So I'm just rubbing the chicken thighs with a little bit of oil to make all the seasoning stick to them. Again, I just wash my hands. Got to be very careful with chicken, of course. Now remember, once these are cooked and they're roasted up nicely, we're going to strip the meat off the bone for our soup. So we're not going to use the bone or the skin. What we're trying to do is cut down the fat content of our food. So I'm going to put a little bit of oregano on there, just a bit, just to give them a bit of flavour. A little bit of cumin, not much, it's quite strong. And you can see the oils allowing the herbs to stick to it. Now for colour, I'm just going to put in some paprika, just a bit, just to give it a bit of colour and flavour, of course. Okay, that's that. Pinch of cooking salt, just give them a sprinkle. I did salt them because they were close to their sell-by date. If you've got meat like that and you're not ready to use it, the best thing is to take it out of its packaging, salt it both sides and put it on a plate in your fridge. It'll keep a lot longer. Right, now I'm just going to chuck in my garlic randomly. It's not a big deal, just gives more flavour because I'll baste them later. Just going to rough chop that in. I want to flavour the oil that comes off them more than anything. So there we go. Okay, my oven's up to 200 almost, and we'll pop them in the oven and give them a good roasting. Then we can start on our Mirepoix base for the soup. Okay, let's get started on the Mirepoix. Now, when I cooked this last week, I saved the oil and the flavour from the juices and the drippings from the chicken thighs. So I'm going to start the Mirepoix with a bit of it. So it's got a bit of oil and it's slightly flavoured. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons in. You can use olive oil, you can use some cooking oil, you can even just use fatty bacon chopped up to strike the pan. Back in the fridge. Okay, we'll crank the heat up on this, and the first thing we're going to do is simply sweat off all our carrots, celery and onion. And this is called Mirepoix. And oops, I just knocked the video. Mirepoix is a village in the Pyrenees in France. So I guess they were famous for maybe soups and stews. I'm not sure, but the Mirepoix is used in a lot of things. And depending how quick you want it to cook, for example, if you're roasting meat, you can drop your meat roast joint onto Mirepoix, but make it a bit bigger because it's going to be in the oven longer. Here I've chopped it into reasonably small pieces. Most of this will disappear into the soup as we go. So that all goes in together, no problem. You've got to mix in the oil just to cover it. A pinch of cooking salt, that'll bring the juices out of the onion and celery, etc. And we're just going to let that go. That can go for 6 or 7 minutes on a medium heat, no problem. Okay, the Mirepoix is cooking away nicely, and at the back I've got my potatoes. I'm going to boil them separate. I'm just going to bring that up to the boil and give it 2 minutes, then switch it off and drain them. What I don't want is all that starchy water in there. And then on the other side I'm washed, drained, and I'm cooking the lentils separately because they take a bit of cooking. There's all sorts in there: split peas, pearl barley. And remember, ladies, if you suffer from UTI, put plenty of pearl barley in your soups and things, it'll cure it. Well, it works sometimes, not all the time, but I'm told it works very well. Okay, I'm just boiling the kettle because I'm going to add some water into our Mirepoix shortly. But while I'm waiting, I thought I'd just prepare the leeks. So I'm cutting off the main greens. That'll go into my compost. And cut the root end. Just give it a small slice off like that to clean it up. Then I gently run my knife down, and I just take one layer if I can get it. I've got 2 here, never mind. But just take off 1 layer like that. Same on this one. Run the knife down. It'll just clean it up and make sure that, you see, I've got some muck in there, so I'll need to wash that. So I've just given that a wash off. Just cut these. I won't put these in till later because they tend to break up and disappear, and they look good if you put it in at the end. Well, the Mirepoix is nice and softened up, it's all infused together. I'm going to drop some hot water in there for now. You can hear that deglaze in the pan. You can put plenty in. I'll put a whole kettle in here, and I'll probably let it down again later. Okay. Yep, good. Switch the kettle off. And now I'm going to put in a couple of the spoon that came in the packet. A couple of spoons of chicken powder in there. Just want to richen the flavour. You can use a stock cube or something like that, no problem. Anything you've got, if you've got chicken stock around, or you've got a stock cube, or even the granulated chicken gravy powder, just to give it a depth of flavour. And then once we get going, we'll season this with salt and pepper. I've got some chickpeas here I found in the fridge. I was making hummus the other day, so I'll chuck them in. I've got frozen peas, put them in. Quick mix. My chicken's in the oven cooking away at 200 degrees. I shall send it back to 180 now. I just put it in at 200 to crisp it up a bit. So I'll just knock it down a bit, the temperature on that. Let the soup tick away. No, I'm waiting for the potatoes and the split peas. Okay, my potatoes are nearly ready to drain. And you can see all that scummy starch on top. Well, we don't want that in the soup. And the same with the lentils and split peas. I'm boiling them off, and you see there's a fair bit of scum on top. But we'll drain all that off before we put it in the soup. I've just left the soup base running on tick over, just steaming away there. I'll cut that right back. Because once we've got all this together, we're just going to put it on a very low heat and slow cook it for a little while, and it's ready to serve. Chicken's cooking away nicely. I'm going to whiz that out in a minute and baste it. Okay, so that's my chicken fat, which has got oil of course, and it's all infused with the garlic and the herbs. So I'll keep that for a future recipe. This is our wings, and I'm just going to let those cool, and once they've cooled right down, I mean they're beautiful to eat now, so crispy, but for our soup I want to take off the skin, remove the bone, and use the chicken as boneless. So just let those cool. I'll come back in a minute and we'll strip them down. Okay, now I'm going to remove the skin from the wing. They're still pretty hot, and I'm just going to take a fork and shred the meat, just like so. I want nice big chunks. Going to make a nice soup. Whoops, get in there. Put them in there. Just watch out for little there are some bits of gristle, so just look out for that. But just pull off the meat like so. Well, if it was cooler, I'd pick it with my fingers a bit like this. Get the chicken, but don't get the gristle. You see there's a bit there, like a little white gristly bit. We don't want that in there. So we just pick them clean with our fingers if they're cool enough. Just make sure there's no gristle in there. And do that with all of them. 4 or 5 will be plenty. I mean, that's given us enough chicken from one, so we'll have quite a plateful when we've stripped them all down. And there we go, just pull them apart, shred it up a bit, and we'll go nicely. So I'm sure you're getting the idea now. Get all that lovely meat off. And the advantage of doing it this way, of course, is that we have all that lovely flavour in the chicken, and we don't have the oil. It's a healthy soup. We've removed most of the fat and oil out of things, and of course there's no bones in, so you won't get any complaints from your kids. And by the time we've finished, there'll be enough soup for at least a family of 5, and total cost probably under £4. I've only used half the chicken. I've still got all the drumsticks, 2 sticks of celery, 1 medium small onion, and a couple of carrots. So I mean, it's not an expensive meal. So I'll just rinse my fingers, I'll cut, and we'll finish the soup off. And you can see I've pulled it all off the bone, off the chicken thighs, and dropped that in, and we've got a fair chunk of chicken in there. Just give that a quick mix in to distribute it. And you see our chicken soup is looking fantastic. Now what we need to do is just check it for seasoning, and let's get a spoon. We'll do that now. See if it needs anything else. Salt and pepper. You could let it down with a little bit more water if you want to. Just taste it. Oh, that's good. That's nice. Yeah, bit of black pepper maybe, a little bit of salt, but not much. That's ready to rock and roll. Now, I've just put that on the very, very low light because I want to keep it hot. And I've got it on a lowest point I can on the gas. I just want it keeping on tick over, and now we'll go ahead and plate it up. And I'm going to make a ham and cheese panini to go with it. A ciabatta roll which I've split. I've cut up some old cheddar cheese. I found a slice of ham, and here I've got my sandwich maker. So this for today is going to be our panini maker. You can use anything that gets hot, like a hot plate or something. So here we go. Let's make this. Let's put as much cheese as we can get in there. Lovely. I'm going to serve this with our wonderful chicken soup. Put the ham on. This makes a great quick breakfast, by the way. Chuck it in the sandwich maker. Just drop the lid and leave it. That's it. Oops, you can't see, can you? So we've just chucked it in the sandwich maker, switched it on. We're just going to drop the lid. We're not going to try and crush it down like so, like we're making a toasty. Leave that. The soup's ready. As soon as that's ready, I'll plate it up, and there you have it. A chicken soup fit for a king. Not that I'm a king, but you've probably got plenty of kings and queens and princesses and princes in your family. Let's try. Oh yeah. There's my toasted cheese and ham panini, which I'm going to eat with it. Lovely crispy crunchy, melted cheese, beautiful chicken, boneless chicken, lots of lovely veg. That's a real treat in winter. Sorry, my mouth. Oh, anyway, that was a cheap dinner. There's enough there for at least 5 people. And don't forget, from the £3 or £4 we spent on the chicken, we've still got all the drumsticks to use. Well, this is Gordon, signing off on this horrible winter's day where we've got ice and snow and it's pretty cold.